I'm Caroline.
And I'm Phil.
Welcome to our happy hour for chat, quiz, fun, and a very special delivery. What's that? Yeah, not yet. Manky's very excited. So, what have we got today? Are we going to start with first three in? I was thinking, I don't know where you'll do something.
Yeah, you're going somewhere, but you don't know where, do you? Let's be honest.
It's been one of those days.
Yes.
I had a very busy day, plus I've been digging as well down the garden, so I'm like, very tired.
Yes, our garden is in serious need of some serious hard work. And
I did nothing all last year, so this year it really is bad.
Yeah,
it's about as bad as it was when you saw it when we did our garden during lockdown. That was pretty awful.
At least the overhanging bushes are not as bad.
No.
They haven't had time to grow back, because that was about 6 or 7 years growth on those. But,
right, so let's have a look who were the first three in. And first person in was the Victorian Mudlark. Well done, Adam.
Hello, Adam.
Second place, Ed Creative. Well done, Ed. And third place is Lexi B, Lexi's Larks and Crafts. So well done for being the first three on the podium. Just beaten was Rachel Bailey. Just for interest's sake, if you see somebody on here and you think, that sounds like the name of a channel, pop over and have a look, because we've got some brilliant YouTube channel makers who actually come over to our live show. So check them out, because there's a lot of fun to be had. You never know, you might find something you really enjoy.
Richard is showing off.
What's Richard doing now?
Richard is saying that he loves gardening, but not only does he love gardening, I'm really organised with it this year, he says.
Oh, well done.
If there's one thing I don't like, it's an organised gardener. Puts me to shame. I don't garden. Caroline gardens. I tend to get drafted in. Like Caroline said, what I could do with is a compost heap.
Yes.
And Caroline says, if you just take that and stick it there.
Well, we had the roof, or half a roof.
Off the old shed.
Yeah. So I thought, I could put that along against the wall that we've got, about 3 foot away, and then I'll have this huge area.
She wasn't going to put a far end on it, just...
No, not for now, and then I could get in and dig it. But anyway, I've got this massive place now to put all my compost for the next 12 months, and then next year I can put all my beans and pumpkins in it.
There we go.
That's my plan.
Yep, so I done that job. I'm still doing the fence from last year.
You are?
I started in spring last year, and then I got busy through the summer, and there is still a whole panel of fence out from where we went through. Saying that, the panel of fence that's out is right next door to a large tree next door, which my neighbour did say they were going to fell in the autumn when the birds had gone. So I thought it made sense to leave it out, but they never felled the tree.
No.
So I, without an excuse, unless I assume they may fell it next autumn and leave it out another year just in case.
No, I think you better put the beds back up. Any excuse.
Always work. But it's handy, see, with a big panel out. It's much easier to get around there and paint and chop back the undergrowth.
You want my panel back?
I'll have to make one.
Right.
So that's on the list.
There you go, hold Phil to that. Check every week. Say, have you fixed Caroline's fence yet?
Fix Caroline's fence. Stop the leaky lead on the conservatory roof. I've sort my shed out.
Phil's shed is a disaster.
Caroline's had another sort out in the conservatory, so now my shed has got another 2 boxes in there to the last time I was there.
I've got to go somewhere.
Well, fortunately, Tim has had one piece of furniture out of there, which meant that one of my desks, the knee hole desk, there was a space under there, so I filled that out. So
just about walk
I can
in,
still get in and out.
Chair, and then get up and walk back out again.
I can still get in and out.
Oh, Karen said, I hope you do some gardening videos this year. I enjoyed watching some of your old garden videos. I don't know if I will. It all depends if I get the time, because, like, the last time we did them, Phil was there. It was lockdown. We had nothing else to do. I tend to be working down there on my own a lot now.
Yeah, we were locked in.
Yes.
Literally. We could only leave the house at that point to walk twice a day on an exercise walk. So, obviously, at that moment in time, which is brilliant, because that series of videos, the gardening videos, doesn't only cover the bringing back to life our garden, because it had been pretty much lost. under the undergrowth and weeds and everything else. But also, of course, when we look at it, we remember, because I'm shocking, I have no memory of things. I know they happened, but I really remember the lockdown each time we talk about the garden videos, because we thought, well, what do? We need to put videos out for people so that they can still get together and socialise around them. We can't go anywhere. What are we going to do? Because we're stuck here. So we went down and gardened and videoed.
But as it is now, I'm doing it all on my own, really.
Yeah.
So things are slow as well. There's not so much getting done. So if I do get a chance to make a video or two, I'll pop them up on the link directly with Ko-fi. And that way then it doesn't mess around with our algorithm, which is really being messed about with at the moment anyway, because we changed our genre. So
we'll put them
on
on there.
Ko-fi.
We'll put them on a Ko-fi link, but if we do a gardening one, they'll be open for everyone to see on Ko-fi. You can just come over. Don't have to subscribe or contribute or anything.
Just pop over there, follow the link, and you'll get in.
So there we go.
Right, let's have a look.
It's all gardening talk now.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
oh, Brian O'Brien, thank you so much for your Ko-fi donation. That's really kind of you, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We do indeed, Brian. Gardening. A few people have said how much they enjoyed seeing the blossom on the trees and the flowers. Now, we'd filmed a little of the flowers and a little along the hedgerows, but then my brother, who was with us, said, oh, there's a secret garden down here, a walled garden. So we thought, oh, well, we'll step inside. And Caroline was having a sit down chatting with my sister-in-law and brother, and I just took the camera for a walk around.
You did?
And there was some lovely... And it was all walled in. Children were playing.
So we couldn't put all the footage on because there were children everywhere. So we just had to pick the bits without any children in.
Yeah, it was the holidays. So being the holidays, the children were out, and of course local people know for the garden. And some of the local children were obviously obeying what was on the sign, and they were under the control of parents, but the others were having a wonderful time playing hide and seek, which meant they kept running right into shot and actually hiding behind plants I was filming at the time. So that did prove it. But saying that, it was nice to see, and it was nice to be able to get that footage just to put that variety in. And of course the other colourful thing that we discovered out there was Paul. Very colourful, Paul, with his hat.
Yes, very trendy hat. Quite like that.
Indeed. You may have heard on the camera, before Paul came on camera, he just came straight out of the Oxfam shop and he said, have you been in there? Have you been in there? You've got to go in there.
Very enthusiastic.
He was so excited. And there was a particular piece of furniture in there, a mirror, that he was absolutely in awe of. And he said, you've got to see it, you've got to see it. Well, we were outside with Paul for 4 or 5 minutes chatting. We went in and there were mirrors on the wall, but not the one Paul had seen, because in that 4 or 5 minutes, they'd sold it and it had gone. So it wasn't there anymore, but it would have been an upcycled mirror. So, Paul was he was a real character, but he was so informative, because I don't know that we would have discovered the carvings.
No, we wouldn't have known they were there.
We wouldn't have realised that they were down there from our research before we went, because obviously there is, as we are discovering, and hopefully we're showing to everyone out there, there's a lot more in these places than you assume. Hay-on-Wye, say that to anybody who knows anything about it, they'll say books. They'll say it's a book town, it's got over 20 bookshops, there's one bookshop called Murder and Mayhem.
You can imagine the books they sell.
And they sell all thrillers. And my brother was saying he went in there and bought his Agatha Christie novels from Murder and Mayhem, so that he hasn't just got the books, but they came from the shop.
There we go.
In Hay-on-Wye. So straight away, you're going to say books. You're going to say books. But someone was saying in the comments, although they had knowledge of Hay-on-Wye, knew of Hay-on-Wye, they didn't realise that it had Norman history. Because obviously when you look up, you don't necessarily focus on the little bit of Norman castle that's left, because you see the Jacobean manor house. So always, we're always finding things. And I think that's the joy of travel, isn't it? It's not just that you learn, not that you just confirm what you already know and see what you knew was there, but finding those extra special things.
And I am tempted to go to some plain, boring places that
Yeah.
nobody's ever heard of. There's nothing special about them, and find out what is special about that
Now,
place.
we have
I
to
think
be-
that's going to be fun.
We have to be very careful now, because now Caroline has said that. We can't go anywhere and say, we've come here because it's a plain, boring place. So I think we'll just rephrase that a little and say, a place that is not famous or has had no events of note attached to it.
Right, okay, then we
Because
put
to
it like that.
say plain and
You know what I
boring.
mean.
I can imagine everyone saying, they don't come to our village and try to say we're plain and boring. But no, because we've got some nice names on some of the places around here. You know,
We may actually do Abercumboy one
Aye,
day.
perhaps we'll do Abercumboy.
I quite fancy
or,
seeing if there must be something
you know,
interesting in Abercumboy. We'll find out.
Cumtolleri and such places.
Yes,
and,
all the strange names. We'll see
know.
what we can find.
so,
I just wanted to say before we go on to anything else, Abigail is saying I wanted to get some old railroad ties to make raised beds for the veggies. If they're the wooden ones, just be careful, because I didn't realise this. A lot of them have been treated with creosote, which has got toxins in it, and if you grow veg in a bed that's been made out of railway sleepers, then some of them can leach into the soil and then up into the veg. So just be careful with that. I think they're fine for flowers, but just be careful. You may find the ones you've got haven't been treated with that, but I know you do have to be careful. Right then, let's have a question, because the night is going.
Okay, question number 1, folks. And this is with regards to the residence that I just described. Because, of course, you've got the Norman castle, a little bit of which is left. Intriguingly, the doors are still there. 90% of the walls are gone, but that gateway remains and a bit of wall, and the doors are still there. But of course, what stands loud and proud is that manor house, which is now a museum, it's a restaurant, it's quite a few things, isn't it? Because we had lunch there.
I think it is a museum and a restaurant.
I think there was.
Was there anything else?
I thought they had, what do you call it, rooms, like function rooms where you could hold things
They
there.
may have done.
I think they were.
They may have done.
But it was originally obviously a manor house, a residence. And as I described, that residence at Hay and Wye Castle is Jacobean in style. Now, just for your information, James in Latin is Jacobus, which is why the period of King James I of England, and we need to add that, that's very important, because he was not King James I of Scotland, but King James I of England, his rule is known as the Jacobean period. King James, he ascended to the English throne after Queen Elizabeth's death. In what year?
Ooh, don't forget, wait for the go.
Is it A, 1583, B, 1603, or C, 1623?
Go.
So what year did the Jacobean era start? When did
You got the answers. Oh, and we got a bit of a mix.
when did James I of England, because he's not the first, this is the big issue, see, we get a lot of this. If you go to Scotland, you will not see a pillar box with ER2 on it,
Ooh.
because they've never had an ER1, because Elizabeth was not the Queen of Scots. Mary, Queen of Scots. Elizabeth was not Queen of Scots, so therefore they don't recognise her. So they just have Elizabeth ER on it.
Right. Now,
See? Oh, I know my stuff.
oh, you were a genius.
I'm a font of information.
Fount.
Well, no, I'm not that big.
Oh,
I'm just a font.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a font. That's the gist to it. I'm just a font.
Right.
Just
You're like a
something
splash on a baby's head.
Just something you
rather
splash
than
on a baby's head rather than
Yes.
something that's going to
Yes.
gush all over the
I
place.
wouldn't want you to exhaust yourself.
No, I'm not that good. But yeah, it's interesting because although we live in the United Kingdom, obviously it came together at various times and places under various agreements and so forth. Except Wales, because we just got an hammering in the 1400s. We lost. But we're coming back strong.
Yeah. Now, while we're just going to have the answer now, but while we do, if it's your first time in, then send on the little message bar a row of smiley faces and we'll say hello, because I know every week we get 1 or 2 new people in, and sometimes you may not want to say anything, but just give me a row of smiley faces and I'll say hello. Right then, so, hello Jen W, just in.
All right.
You
did say we have, but you did say there were a variety of answers, and you're right, because in the first 9 answers there are 3 correct ones, so it is a pretty even split. It's pretty much across the board.
So who was first in?
Because I think we got 4 A's, 2 C's, and 3 B's in the
hello,
first
bottle
9.
digging with Kyle. First time in a long while. It is a long while. Lovely to have you back with us.
Fantastic. How are you doing, young man? How are you doing? Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
To get to the first correct answer, I've got to ignore the first 3 because Victoria and Mudlarker thought it was A, Ed Creative thought it was A, Dan Fetters thought it was C, but the correct answer is B, 1603, so it's Beata Heinz.
Well done,
tell you what, Beata had a good run last week, and she's off to a golden start again. Then we've got a couple of incorrect answers, and then we come to Mr. Richard Serridge.
Oh, well done, Richard.
And then Bonnie Tyler, fan 34.
Done, Bonnie Tyler fan.
And then it goes crazy because after that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 correct answers in a row. So there was a lot of people knew it, but they came in a bit later. So there we go. Bonnie Tyler, fan 34, just picked that list and got the 3rd place. So we got Beata, Richard and Bonnie Tyler fan.
Well done.
All on a podium.
Oh, Tina Thompson. Hello, Tina. If it's your first time, you give me a roll of smiley faces and 1 sad face. I'll assume that maybe that was a wrong click, or maybe you're feeling a bit sad now, but hello, Tina. And, Ed said, I typed A but thought B. Not sure if that counts.
It does. As they always say, it is the thought that counts.
Oh, there we are. Bottle digging with Kyle said, I'm very good, thank you. I'm very happy to see you both again. I'm even more surprised I got the right answer. Well done, Kyle.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's of course that's one of the things I suppose that makes it history interesting in this part of the world, is that every era of a monarch, it defines, like you've got Victoriana, and you've got, they'll talk about furniture, they'll say that's William III. So they tend to take the monarch and use that as a way to describe a time and a place. And very often, not so much these days perhaps as it was in the old times, the monarch had the money to spend, so they had a lot of influence on architecture and the way things were. What the king did, or the queen did, people tended to follow. They were trendsetters. So much so that when Queen Victoria lost her husband quite young and decided to go into mourning, it became extremely fashionable in Victorian Britain then for people to go into mourning, one, to wear black, but also if they did lose someone, the period of mourning became more extended, and you had mourning jewellery and everything introduced because that's what the Queen did. That doesn't have that effect anymore, but as we do history, then the monarchs follow through with the different times. And of course, James I, Jacobean, and that's the style that influenced the building.
Right, for the next thing, I'm going to pick all your brains. I've got this. I had it in an auction job lot, and I have no idea what it is. And I'm sure it's got like a little button that you can press on there. And it has got a little hole in the bottom there. And there seems, where is it? See if I can show you. There seems to be something inside there. I did think maybe some sort of gas fitting or something, but I have no idea what it is. So I don't even know how to start researching it. So does anybody recognise this? Have you got any idea what that could be? I thought there's bound to be somebody on our live show who recognises it. So it's got like, it's almost like a burner top on it, isn't it? And it does look like there'd be a flame in there, but I could show you the hole. Let's check in the bottom. Here's the bottom, you can't really see anything in there. Just another hole. Oh, there's a little sort of slidey, almost like you sort of
Tag.
you do something with it to hold it in place. Oh, there's some numbers on it. I can't see one in there, but is there? No, it's just knots in the wood, I think. So anybody know what that is? Like Ed said, seen something similar but no clue. Bottle digging with Kyle said it's a curious object.
That's one of the beautiful things of auctions. If you buy a box full of tat,
Oh, I love
you
that.
don't know what on earth's going to come out of it. And I don't think we've ever bought a box of tat yet that hasn't
Had so at least one mystery
at
object.
least one mystery object, and that we haven't made money on by reselling it through eBay and the rest.
Right, Ed said maybe a gas mantle. No, I don't think it's one of those, Richard. If so, I put it down very gently. A school bell, no, be a wood on the bottom, but it sort of
Does have a bell look, but
it does
it's
look
wooden.
like a bell, but no. Roman toilet brush, no bristly bits.
Ah,
No. Is it part of an old oil or gas lamp, Anne said? Now that's when I'm thinking, ooh, it's got an extendable bit.
now
Look at that.
see the
I didn't know it
holes
did
at the
that.
bottom. See it? It's got a threaded portion on top, and if I push it down, then there sounds like there's a spring in there.
So is that stopping the air coming through
Don't
when
know.
you push that?
Ah, see, the mystery just gets more mysterious.
So there we go. Yes, your homework for this
You can
week.
close it and open it, like.
Just by
By
pulling.
lifting, yeah, you lift and it opens the holes and press down. So you can close off the air supply. at that
Pushed it
point.
down too far now.
Oh, now it'll never come
Now
out.
it'll never come back out, but it's supposed to come back out.
It's gone now. It's kaput.
Yeah, I broke it.
It's kaput. That's like 100 years old.
And I
And
broke
you've
it.
just seen it destroyed before your very eyes. But we're all right. You can just undo the screws.
Lexi said, is it for prodding unruly pandas? Now, I could try it out, couldn't I? What do you mean, no? Monkey said no.
There's screws there, so I can always dismantle
I
it.
would
later.
stick something under and wedge it up anyway, I would think.
Possibly.
Richard said a spaghetti slicer. Could be. Don't think it is, but it could be.
Indeed.
Right then, so
And with a big hello
hello.
to Catherine Williams, who is a person who has joined the same club as myself, as in the cup of hot beverage over the laptop,
Oh no.
and has just got their laptop back, so they're with us tonight after a number of weeks absence,
Oh,
and is
Catherine.
now playing catch up. So I look forward to all your comments, Catherine, because I'm catching up on those too. In fact, I may even find one of your comments from before your laptop went, because I'm only a week behind now. I've got up to 7 days. I'm just 7 days behind on the comments. But yeah, Catherine's just had her laptop back, so she's excited to be back with us.
Look after it. Right, Michelle Grady said, hi, go to wash later, tested negative for COVID, but having flu symptoms.
Oh, dear.
Hope you get better soon, Michelle. Kyle said, long shot, but could it be a Bunsen burner type thing? Yeah, again, it does look a bit like that. It looks like it's got something to do with gas, I think. I could be wrong.
Except that if that hadn't been pushed down so you can't retrieve it, but what you can see,
If I hadn't broken it.
that portion is threaded and it closes the hole as it lifts up, so there is nowhere for a flame on the top.
But I'm wondering if the flame was in there, and that's why there are air holes, and you can shut the air holes when you push the top down and cut off the oxygen. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but why would you have a flame inside there?
To warm it up, so you could poke things with it.
Yeah, I think we're on.
It's a curling dogs.
I think we're on to a strange one there.
Abigail said it looks like it's a regulator or a valve off something. Richard said it's steampunk gavel. Well, you're certainly getting lots of ideas, Richard. And P. Mitch said that the bottom looks like an insulator. It's wood.
It's turned.
It's got like a plasticky, like a varnish.
That's the varnish
yeah,
peeling off.
Which is all turned into like, oh, sorry, you can't see that, can you? It looks like plastic, doesn't it? And it's actually wood. So I don't know if that helps anybody.
A piece of an alien spaceship.
Look, if
A
you
wooden
look,
alien spaceship.
see there's a hole where another one of those has been. Interesting. It'd be lovely if somebody can actually find a picture of one of these in use and we know what it is.
Richard said definitely not an insulator.
No.
Definitely.
Right. Rita said, could it be a burner of a goldsmith? Ooh. Now that sounds good, doesn't it?
Wood, so not a burner as wood would burn.
Good point.
No
Beata said no markers. I can't
Nah.
see any.
There we go.
Letty said thought it was metal.
Yeah, see? Intriguing.
Oh, there we go.
intriguing.
None of you will sleep tonight now. You'll be thinking, what on earth was that thing? Right, let's have another question.
Okie dokie. Oops. Dear.
Oops,
Can we
wrong
get
one.
back, please?
Yep, there we go.
There we
We're
are.
back.
Caroline was off over there typing.
I was tired.
She's getting over there to type go, and I was thinking, we're not back. There we go. We're back. Okay. Well, as well as meeting Paul, thanks to Paul, we then met Johnny, who has a cafe, which as you come into over the bridge across the River Wye, the very first thing you see on your left-hand side is the sandwich board that I was stood next to in part of the film, which was one of the times that Manky made an appearance. And you see that there saying Beanbox Cafe with an arrow going down the steps. If that wasn't there, you would never know Johnny's Cafe was there because it's down, you've got to go down the
You
steps.
can see it on the road on the way in.
You can.
I could
you?
see down over the side of the road.
Could you?
there.
You were sat on the other side of the car to me, see? But he's right under the bridge, but he is above the walkway on the river that goes along all of those beautiful carvings. So it was great to meet Johnny. We wouldn't have known we wouldn't have gone there probably if it wasn't for Paul's insistence. We went down and had a look at the carvings, so we did. We took my brother and his wife along and we had cake.
By the way, the people, you know, when we walked up to the building and we walked up to a window and some people waved, they weren't strangers. That's Phil's brother and his wife Irene.
Yeah, they didn't know I'd be filming them. They were in there
No.
waiting for us to have lunch. And I decided that I'd film through the window. And they were
So
very
we're not
good
that
about
weird. We
it.
don't film people, strange people we don't know in
Please
restaurants.
do not go around filming
No.
strangers in restaurants and thinking, well, Phil did it, it's legal. No. That was my brother and his wife. They live in Scotland and they're down for Easter. So obviously we stayed in our caravan on the site where they have theirs to have a couple of nights together. So it was a great time and we had lunch in there. But then we decided that because it is really busy in our restaurant, really busy, they were turning people away because tables were booked. The only reason we got in was that we arrived at 12 and they gave us a reserved table that was taken at 1:30, so we needed to clear the table by 1 so they could reset and have it ready for the person who reserved it. So that's why we chose then. We had lunch there and then had our dessert, wasn't it? Down with Johnny.
Yep.
And
Richard said, especially make sure not to say on camera, here is a strange person.
living in a very boring town with a boring name. In a dull and boring town.
Bottleding Mackay, where in Scotland do they live? They're in St Andrews.
St Andrews, that's where the oldest golf course, I think,
And when
in
we
Britain
go to
is.
visit them, we will go and have a look at that oldest golf course.
Yes, we are going to do a trip up there. They've also got the third oldest university, I believe, in Great Britain, which is the oldest university in Scotland. And where, until he retired, my brother was the director of the university. Which ain't bad for a lad who, like myself, left school with no qualifications.
Just goes to show, you're never going to give up on yourself. You're going to
No.
always make something of yourself later in life.
He had absolutely no qualifications and he went on to achieve a great deal. He was a fully qualified, capable and competent nurse who did an excellent job. Then he retired from that and went to university in his 30s. Then he came out of university, did teacher training. He became a teacher. Then he retired from teaching and became a director in St Andrews University. And he's my little brother and he's been retired now for about 5 years and I'm still working.
He's definitely done something right.
Yeah, he did a lot of things right. He did. But lovely lad and we had a great time. But we went down for our cake, met Johnny.
Can I just say a second? Hi, Ruthie Pete.
Hello.
Hi, I'm so excited I finally caught you live.
Oh,
Lovely to have you here.
Hello. And have a go at this question. We will get there eventually, honestly. I'm just going around the mulberry bush to get there, because this is a question
We are going to get to the
about
question.
Johnny's Cafe. But it's interesting that Johnny opened the cafe, I think it looks like, in his back garden during COVID, serving takeaway coffee so that people could have a hot drink and have a look along down by the river. Because, of course, people were coming for their walks down the river, but they couldn't get any beverages because all of the internal cafes are shut. So he opened it literally with the shed he was in wasn't there at that point. He said he built that 2 years ago this Easter. So, but he didn't realize that by doing this, he was going to get a lot of attention, because he was the only place in the town of Hay that was serving coffee for the public. So it hit the news. And a lot of the people, like Paul has said, they now support Johnny because he was such a lifeline to them to sort of be able to socialise outdoors at the time. Here's the question. When we were talking to Johnny at the Beanbox Cafe, be sure to pop in there if you go to Hay, there was a menu on the counter at the top of which was advertised any grilled cheese sandwich and soup. Now, we'll leave aside a moment whether you should eat a grilled cheese sandwich with soup or not. What I wish to know is, what would that cost you? Was it A, £6, B, £8, or C, £10?
Go.
What do you think? How much do you think in Johnny's Calf would you be paying? Now, if you were paying attention, you'd have seen this. Caroline, I'm going to clear you edited it.
Say no more, say no more. See?
Ooh. So, anybody don't get it right now, Mr. Comments. There we go. Lexi, you read my mind. Yeah, but Lexi, you haven't answered the question.
Oh, no. So it doesn't count. That's what I notice when you go to different towns. You go to a town that's a little bit depressed, hasn't got a lot of jobs and things like that. The prices are reasonable. And you go somewhere like Hay on Wye and the prices are a bit more. And then you go to the inner city and prices are just silly. So that's one of the reasons why we like going to Wetherspoons. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but the prices are generally there or thereabouts, so we can go in and we know roughly how much something is. I can just imagine going into a restaurant, ordering something, and then finding out it's £20 for your main meal. I'm like, ooh, that's a bit expensive. And another thing, one of the reasons I like Wetherspoons is that they don't tip, because I never quite know how much to tip, and then you've got to wait at the end for them to bring you the bill, whereas you go to Wetherspoons, you pay, it's done, and then you eat your food and you go. It's much quicker, whereas when you've got a traditional restaurant setup, you have to order, then you wait at the end to pay, and then you do your tip. And
it is a case, though, that wherever we go, we know the meals we like there, and we know we'll get the same meal everywhere. I know what the recipes are, I know what they've got. And also Caroline has this strange fascination with photographing their carpets.
I do. They've got lots of different patterns.
Yeah, every time we go in, Caroline says, just taking a photo of the carpet. She gets a photo of the carpet and then sends it off on Instagram or whatever to her friend. Off it goes. And yes, because they are quite famous for their carpets.
Lexi said large fish and chips is now £10 at your chippy. How much is it at our chippy for fish and chips? Is bigger than that. It's more than that, isn't it?
£11.20, I think.
Yeah, £11.20 for fish and chips.
In fact, I don't know how much it cost. I'll have to check with my brother and I'll find out for you. But he did a fish supper for us. I say fish supper because I was with my brother and his wife from Scotland.
That in Scotland.
Everything's a supper up there. If you're having chips from a chip shop, you're having pie supper, sausage supper, fish supper. We had fish supper. It was his treat. So I'll have to ask him what it cost in the chip shop just down the road from Hay where we were staying. Because it was very good fish.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice. Okay. Here we go. Now then, folks, I'm going to give a special award to Lexi B. Because Lexi, you didn't actually answer the question, but you were too busy writing the last comment that came up as Caroline hit go. And the last comment from Lexi was, £8 for a toasted cheese sandwich and soup at the place you showed. I was asking the question as you were typing your comment. So well done, because you weren't guessing, you jolly well knew, but that comment is the last comment before go. So it don't count. So we're now looking for anyone else who said B or 8. And to do so, I've got to scroll down because I've got loads of A's and C's. And then we come to P. Mitch. Now,
well done, P. Mitch.
Yeah, I don't think P. Mitch has been on a podium tonight. I don't think P. Mitch has been on a podium before. I can't remember the name.
And P. Mitch has just said, I love the sign on the store which said, no fish and chips in that store. What we like the fact it said, no fish and chips in newspaper, wasn't it?
No fish and chips in paper allowed in the store.
So you could take
if you had it on a plate, they were obviously posh in there. If you had a fish and plate on a china plate with a knife and fork, you could probably eat it. But it said, no fish and chips in paper. I loved that one. I said to Caroline, you've got to film that, because it was on the... Another thing that was mentioned by Lexi was World Famous Emporium. I've never heard of it. And as I said to Lexi in the comments, they don't do humility in hay. They claimed UDI for hay on Y. They believe they're an independent nation with their right to rule, so they can be whatever they want to be.
Oh, Barney said a grilled cheese in Vegas was $25.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
But we got a run of 3 in a row, because after P. Mitch, we've got Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel.
And Glenda Weiss, because they've put 8, which is the correct answer. It's not B, but it's 8, that's fine. So it's P. Mitch, Rachel, and Glenda, 3 in a row with the correct answer.
Well done, Glenda, too.
So there we go. And Richard, no, not £67,954. Sorry, mate. Close.
So you'd have found it a bargain.
Indeed. But
oh, hello, Kate and Oliver. And Oliver today has found 3 marbles and a bottle stopper.
Oh, wow.
Well done.
Lovely. And you had the weather for it too. Well done, young man. What was I about to say?
P. Mitch's Mudlarker, Arizona.
Hello there. There we go. Mudlarker, Arizona. That's who P. Mitch is. There we go. But well done on getting that correct and getting a gold podium. Okay. But yeah, as much as the price, I think the question for me is whether I would want a toasted cheese sandwich with my soup.
I quite fancy it, actually.
Depends on the flavour of the soup. Perhaps leek and potato. Right.
I would want broccoli soup with it.
Yeah. Got to think about this.
Oh, right.
Right.
So we've answered the question, haven't we? Because I'm trying to concentrate, and I can keep your Manky saying, let's open the box, let's open the box. He's driving me bananas. So you want to open the box, do you, Manky? Yes, he's so excited. Look at this. So we had a delivery. You remember last week or the week before? We heard that there'd been a discovery. That discovery is in this box.
No.
Are you ready for this? Oh, look at there! And it turns out we thought that this must be Manky's twin brother.
But it's not.
No, because
look at this. It's not.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
So we went on to Manky went on to genealogy.com and found a family that we're pretty sure, looking at all the links, is his family, and he had an older sister. And his older sister is called Panky. So we've now got Manky Panky, and this is his big sister. And from what we've learned about her so far, she's really sensible, whereas Manky's rather silly. Panky is very sensible, but she needs a lot of work. If you have a look, she's got an eye missing. So we may be able to replace that eye, but first of all, she has to have major surgery. So Manky's been reading up his How to Be a Surgeon book, and we're going to cut her... I'll put my fingers in her ears, I don't want to upset her. We're going to anaesthetise her, then we're going to cut her on a seam, take all the stuffing out, give it a thorough soak, a thorough wash, restuff her, sew her back up, and she'll be virtually as good as new. She'll be as good as Manky.
Better than new.
So we're going to just make her better, aren't we, Panky?
Yeah, and hopefully she'll be able to appear next week looking smart.
Yes. Thing is, we need to find some clothes for her now because Tatiana bought those for Manky.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where she got them, and we need them slightly bigger for Panky. So we're going to have to look around.
She might be easier to buy for,
possibly. I may be able to make something for Panky. Depends whether she likes frills or not. We have to talk about all this. She's going to want to choose her wardrobe. So there we go. Manky Panky. So we can always have the adventures of Manky and Panky.
Yes, and due to the fact that Panky is the sensible one, she'll probably spend more time with Caroline.
Yes. And then
doing the filming, and we'll be off getting up to mischief. There we go.
So there we go.
Now you'll get confused because you'll be spotting Panky when you should be counting Mankies.
So I put Manky up there.
Life is going to get very confusing.
And we put Manky there. So there we go. We got Manky Panky.
Yeah, and thank you, Richard, for rescuing Panky and for arranging transportation.
Yes, and thank you for sending it to us as well.
Yeah.
Really kind of you. And
for the initial job of not just the rescue, but minor restoration in as far that
apparently she was much
very, very muddy and wet. So needed a good drying out before we were able to travel. But
and as you know, we found Manky in Yorkshire. And Richard found Panky in a old colliery, which is a coal mine in South Wales. Well, not down it, in the area of one.
Yeah, was it Blaensachen? I'm not sure.
I think you
began with a B.
Right.
So
where was it, Richard? Was it
Richard will type it in.
He knows. Thank you to Richard because
Richard knows his Welsh. She'll type the name.
A new character for our channel.
Yes, and a whole new chapter to the story of Manky when it comes to getting written.
And Beata says, so she is officially adopted now? Yes.
Yes.
She is. She's living with us now. Richard kindly sent her to us. So she's going to be cleaned up and then she will be part of the channel as much
travelling
as Manky
with
is.
us around the world.
Yes.
Yeah, Blaensachen.
Blaensachen or Abersachen, depending on the name.
There we go. But it was a colliery site, I believe. So Richard came all the way down here to find Panky. We went all the way up to Yorkshire to find Manky.
Yes.
A long distance jog. Anyway, would you like another question about travel and distance?
Yes, have another question.
This is a good distance question. Now, Hey and Why, I don't know if they do this all around the world, but over here they've got a habit of twinning. They love twinning towns. They love to twin towns. And Hey and Why has twinned with two places in the world. One of which is Timbuktu in Mali in West Africa. Now that's unusual because they usually choose European locations. But they also are twinned with a European location, with a particular village. Caroline did film the sign, and I would like to ask, in which of these countries can that village be found?
Ooh.
Was it in A, Belgium, B, France, or C, Germany?
Go.
In which of those European countries is the village that Hey on Why is twinned with, as well as Timbuktu?
Right, well, that's coming in. Abigail's got a question for you.
Oh.
What is the difference between a coal mine and a colliery?
Absolutely nothing.
I always call them pit or a mine, and Phil always
People
calls it a colliery.
refer to I work down the pit, I work down the mine, and funnily enough, you generally say I work at the colliery rather than down a colliery. So colliery, I did look this up at one time because people were asking. I believe it's I know a miner was known as a collier.
Yeah, because you get the Collier's Arms, which is the pub that the miners used to go to on the way home. So I don't think I've ever heard of a pub being called the Pit or the anything else. But I know that a mine, but I know they do have the Collier's Arms. Oh, Phil's going for it now. He's going on Google to check. Here we go.
Colliery, it just says the definition is, what's the difference between a colliery and a mine? It's a good question. A colliery is a coal mine and is associated buildings. Colliery only refers to coal mines, no other type of mine, because it's an alternative spelling of colliery. It's a mutation of the word coal, eri.
Right.
So like you'd have a bakery,
We've got a colliery.
You've got a colliery, which became colliery because colliery is a word that is no longer used.
Now, Meredith said a colliery includes the mine as well as the buildings. Yep, that's about same thing, isn't it?
Colliery
colliery's a whole complex because we do have what they call drift mines that years ago somebody would just start digging into the mountain and there'd just be one tunnel going in and they'd be bringing the coal back out and selling it. So that's not a colliery then, that is a mine.
That's a drift. Yeah, a colliery is a coal mine and its associated buildings. Only refers to a coal mine. So if you say, I work in a mine, is it a copper mine? Is it
a gold mine?
Gold mine. It could be a lead mine, a tin mine. But a colliery has to be coal because it is a mutation of the word colliery.
There we are. We'll all remember that now.
There we go. I
said at one point, I said to Phil, we're going to have to change the way you speak because Phil would always talk about the colliery, and so many people were saying, what's a colliery? And they couldn't spell it either because we say it in such a weird way. But, yes, coal mine, colliery.
And now you know it's a colliery as in a bakery. Bakery is where you bake things. A colliery is where you get your coal, but it became colliery.
A beanery is where you pick beans.
There we go.
A toastery is where you make your toast.
There we go. Now we're making words up now.
I'm not. How can you say such a thing?
Right.
A lollipoppery is where you make your lollipops.
We got to get back to this question, you know.
Okay.
Because
I've forgotten we'd asked one.
Yes,
right,
we definitely did, and there's lots of answers in. We do indeed. And now everybody's talking about coal mines. Yes, we do have a winner. Because the answer is, it's a village with only about 500 inhabitants, and it's in Belgium. It's in Belgium. And therefore, I've got 4 correct answers in a row. So we've got Rachel Remy has got A.
Well done, Rachel.
Not to be confused with Rachel Bailey, who's also got A.
Oh, well done, Rachel.
So the two Rachels were neck and neck, but it's Rachel R above Rachel B, so that's the go position. And Eddie K was so convinced he thought he'd put a double A.
Well done, Eddie.
And just a quick mention for Ed Creative, because he was the 4th of the 4 in a row. But he doesn't get a podium place. And a special mention as well for Karen Stewart, because they didn't use a letter, they actually wrote Belgium and they wrote the name of the village. Redu.
Oh, right. Ooh.
Yeah, so they had the name of the village.
Information there,
so that is
Silver
a
full
and complete answer. So yeah, we're going to have to give you definitely a silver gilt for that. And well done, Mike, as well, because you got the right answer. So there we go. Lots of right answers. Lots of people worthy of mention, but Rachel and Eddie, you take the podium places on question number 3. Right, now then, I got a couple of quotes here.
A couple of quotes?
Just representative of some of the people's comments.
Oh, interesting. Beata's twin town is Rochdale in the UK.
Rochdale?
Oh, if ever we go to Rochdale, we get a picture of the twinned with...
Yeah.
I can never... Bielefeld, isn't it? I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah. Rochdale. Have we ever been to Rochdale?
I don't think we've ever been to Rochdale.
I've seen signs for it, but I don't think we've been there.
I'm not going to refer to it as a bowling place.
No,
we'll have to go and check it out because I don't know of anything really
careful what you're saying now.
Famous about Rochdale.
You don't know till you start looking. I tell you, these places, they've got so many secrets to hide. But because we were talking earlier on about that Oxfam shop. The lady in that shop was just so thrilled that we went in because Paul was so excited. He sent us in. I spoke to the manageress. That's who you could hear me talking to. She upcycles all the stuff in the shop, and she was actually on a call at that time with 2 of her managers, and her managers, senior managers, are not totally on board with what she's doing. She is such a clever lady. Because it's against the rules to paint the walls and it's against the rules to paper the walls. So the question is, how did she manage to have those walls decorated? She used a wall hanging because it didn't say about wall hangings in the rules. And then she took wrapping paper and stuck them together and hung them on the wall because it said wallpaper, it didn't say wrapping paper. This lady is walking a chalk line just inside, she thinks, the rules, just across the line as far as her boss is concerned. But what a fantastic shop, and so suited. So she was so excited that I said, you've got to go back on the Zoom call now and say, sorry I had to leave. I had a camera crew in the shop because the public outside sent them in because they said it's the best Oxfam shop in the world.
Oh, yes.
I said that, but I don't think she'll do that because she wants to keep her job. But what a clever lady, working on the edge of the rules and getting the job done. So I was well impressed with that. And these are the comments. Just two of the comments that I picked up quickly because I haven't answered these, but I've just been, I do read the comments even though I haven't got time to answer them all immediately. Miss Merrily said, arguably the poshest looking Oxfam shop I have ever seen. And Catherine G said, love the Oxfam. I would definitely take a look at the clothing. And I love what the lady who runs the shop does with the upcycling. So quite a few people impressed with the lady that did the work here. And we've actually got the email address, haven't we, to send her the link so that she'll be able to watch the video. So we're going to do that as well.
Now Bonnie says, our twin town is Birmingham. A giveaway since I'm in the suburbs of Birmingham, Alabama, I think that is. So there we go.
Right. Now I have been to Birmingham. I've
never actually stopped in Birmingham.
I have. As a kid, I went to Birmingham and I bought. And in the Bull Ring, they had a flea market, and that's where I bought my Southern Comfort mirror.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
I would have been about 13.
Ooh.
50 years ago. That's when I went to Birmingham.
That's scary, isn't it? 50 years ago.
50 years ago, went to Birmingham with the church to some event, to some do in Birmingham, some rally. And I went down there, and being the rebellious sort, I thought, I'll buy that because it's got a drink on it. That's about as rebellious as I got at 13. So yeah, I bought a wooden framed mirror with a picture on it, and the pub mirrors you get, but about that big. And it had Southern Comfort on it, and I bought that in the Bull Ring at Birmingham.
Rachel said, we Americans say Birmingham.
Yeah, they probably do in Birmingham as well, but Birmingham. So I say, I don't know what they'd say.
I don't know how.
Birmingham.
If we got anybody who's from Birmingham, let us know. Do you say Birmingham? I think they say it the way we say it.
Well, this is the discussion we had last week where Steve or Scott or somebody raised the question, why did the Welsh drop all their vowels? It's interesting to know that we've got one more vowel than anybody speaking English, but we don't use them as often, even if they're there, because we tend to drop H's, but then we do drop vowels as well, I suppose.
Not that many. I think we're quite vowely.
Are we?
We are.
I'm vowely, am I?
You are vowely.
Right.
And we've got long vowels. Like in some accents, it's quite clipped, but we've got very long ones.
Yeah.
Long vowels.
Not when we say Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Birmingham. We've lost an A there somewhere, haven't we? Birmingham.
Birmingham, we say.
Birmingham. So we put a U in. I've got a question, and it's a gold question. Question about gold.
Question.
Now, this question is in answer to a comment that came up in the live chat last night on the premiere. Not sure. I think it may have been Lexi asked the question. Seeing the gold postbox, they asked who was the medalist that won the gold medal from the Hay area. And they were absolutely right to ask that because the postbox at Hay was painted gold by the Royal Mail to celebrate Josie Pearson, gold medal winner in the Paralympic Games in London in 2012. So there we go. That answers your question, Lexi. Now maybe you can answer mine. In what category did Josie win her medal? Was it A, gymnastics, B, swimming, or C, track and field?
Go.
So do you think she was in the pool? Do you think she was in the gym? Gymnastics? That's A. B, do you think she was in the pool, swimming? Or C, do you think she was on the track and field in one of those events? Where do you think Josie won her gold medal in the 2012 Olympics, Paralympics in London?
No, Richard, I don't think it was astronomy. I don't think they've introduced astronomy to the Olympics. I'm not quite sure. I could be wrong, but I don't remember ever seeing people on the podium for astronomy. Right, let's have our winners then, because time is moving on. We got the big question.
The answer is she won it for the event of the discus, which would be in the category of track and field. There we go, track and field. So we're looking for C, which means Ed Creative, who is quite often the first answer in, but not always right, is this time the first answer in and correct.
Oh, well done, Ed.
Followed by Sally Sendell.
Well done, Sally.
And then followed by Dan Fetters.
Well done, Dan.
There we go. So it's
Excellent.
Ed, Sally and Dan. You've got the gold question right, and you share a gold podium followed by a silver podium and a bronze podium. So there we go. Ed is our gold Olympic winner on this Olympic question.
There you go. Ooh, you don't get a gold medal on this show though, sorry.
No.
If we could afford to, we'd send you gold medals. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Imagine if you were competing for gold medals. Then that would get really difficult because of the delay with the internet. It'd be really frustrating when you knew you were in first, but your answer didn't come through, and somebody else got a gold medal and you didn't. No, we'd probably never do that. Could cause problems. Right, let's have a look. Rachel said a kiss from Manky, maybe. Oh, Manky. Yeah, well, I said Manky. He goes, yes. So you want to blow a kiss? Oh.
He wants his sister to be with him.
Well, I don't really think you need help because you're very good at giving kisses. We want to both give a kiss. Here we go. They're both coming in to give you a kiss. So if anybody's feeling a little bit down or has been ill, under the weather, or if you just fancy a manky panky kiss, pack it up. Here we go. There we go. You got a double one. There you go. You can imagine there will be no peace and quiet in the Johnson's household any longer now we have those pair. Oh.
Not at all. Right then, we've got to deal with this because we've only got 2 minutes of the show left, and last week it led to an 8-minute discussion. So let's see where we end up tonight with the question that everyone has been waiting for.
Yes, I know.
How many times did you see Manky appear in this week's video? If you want to win a prize, you need to either say A10, B11 or C12.
Go.
Because 6, I knew this was going to happen. 6 monkeys.
Ed lost count.
Oh.
And somebody said including the outro, Chelm 9 said. Yes, I think that is including everything this week, I think.
I hope so. Oh, they
Lee said easy, 0. I missed the video. There we go. Richard said 54. Now, it's not even 1 over 50, Richard. Stop over exaggerated. Bonnie said I forgot to count.
I love the fact we got 8, 6.
Lexi said 12. Ed 11. Oh, I got yawns now. Told you I was tired. Right. Ooh. Right. Phyllis has hedged her bets and says fewer than 100.
You are correct, Phyllis.
Yes,
you're the only
you are
one
right.
so far I'm willing to
That's
commit
even
to
less
being
than
right.
Richard.
Yeah,
Even more than Richard.
And you're the one person who's brought a sense of unity and agreement because they all think it's less than 100. We always end up with so many different numbers on this.
Oh, Richard said you'll want a tetanus shot after kissing Panky. Oh, she's not that grubby. No, she is. My desk is covered in bits of dust and grit and things when I've been holding her above the camera. But she won't look like that next week. In theory. Depends how many soaks she needs. I think Manky took about 6 or 7 soaks in water, and then I popped him in the washing machine because I just couldn't get him clean, so we'll see how he goes. Right then, so do we have a winner?
We have a winner.
Right.
We have a second place. And I'm just trying to see if I can find yes.
Oh, there we go.
We have enough. Right. This is going to be tricky. Yeah, we do have about 5 correct answers according to my list. So let's deal with this first. The correct answer on my county page,
look at that, very technical.
from having watched the video numerous times, is 12. Which would be
everywhere
C.
this week.
Because I believe he was in the car, back of his head, looking out the windscreen. He was in the mirror of the car on the drive, looking back towards the camera. He was by the door when we filmed the doors of the castle. Now, some people may have missed this one. This, I think, was the trickiest one. He was up the tree. When we filmed the big tree, Manky was about 9 foot up the tree, climbing the tree. And that was the one that would have caught people out, possibly. He was also on the bookshelf in the honesty books. He was also by the daffodils on the house wall. He was by the clock, climbing on the gate. He was by the cake when we were eating. He was on top of the sign when I gave the disclaimer that we had not been paid by Johnny. We paid for our food, all of it. He was also up a tree, again, by the waterfall. He was on the bench by the big bears. And he was stood on top of a sawn-off tree above a woodpecker on the carving walk.
There you go.
That is 12 in total, which means today, to the panda rescuer extraordinaire, Mr. Richard Serridge, goes
well done, Richard.
the position of gold podium for the final question, followed by Bonnie Tyler, fan 34,
well done, Bonnie
picking
Tyler.
up another podium position. And then I've got to scroll down because, Phyllis, I love your answer, but I can't really give you that as a 12. Now, in a galaxy far, far away, Darth said 13, so they may have seen one I didn't. Some people wondered if Manky was in the reflection of the window when I filmed the cafe. I double-checked, he wasn't.
Right.
He was elsewhere. So then we've got to find another C, and it goes to someone who is not worried about it being a little late because it's quite early, Linda Peterson.
Well done, Linda, and happy Easter. It's already Easter there.
So I should mention Carolyn S for getting it right, Lexi B for getting it right. And I think that's it.
Oh, well done if you did get it right. It was very difficult this week.
Yeah, I decided after last week where we couldn't agree on 3, I was just going to go for it. And I said, Manky, just let rip. Go for it.
And
boy.
he did.
And he did. So there we go, folks. If you spotted a Manky that wasn't on my list, put it in the comment of the video and then I can check when I get there and give me the timing for it. But they were the 12 that I spotted myself, having made the film.
And Rachel said you could get a job with those nice ladies on the repair shop. And it made me think, wouldn't that be fun if we took Panky along to repair shop and got them to fix her? But on the other hand, then
they'd fix her too good.
They do too good a job, I think. Yes.
We love the fact that Manky is Manky.
Yes, it's the best way to describe Manky is Manky.
He's just so unique.
Look at that.
I would never want him to look like he looked when they bought him.
He certainly doesn't.
I'm glad he doesn't look like he did when we found him.
No, because that was pretty grim.
He's got such a personality and character. And one day, Manky, you will be famous and be in a book, along with your big sister. We're going to have to get details of Blind Sachan.
Oh, hello, Jeannie.
Hello, Jeannie's in.
Kyle said you could ask them to make it look used and manky. We could do, couldn't we? Give them Manky as a demonstration. We want him to look like her, to look like this.
Now, Jeannie, have you just joined us? Is that because you missed by an hour? Because the clocks have been all over the place. It all changed the end of last month. But if you have just joined us, I'll make sure the replay is on and you'll be able to watch it, because it's time for us to say thank you to everyone for making it such a wonderful night.
The hours have flown by tonight.
And lovely to see returning guests. It's lovely to see Catherine back after a short break with cup of hot beverage incident with the
another
laptop.
Coffee gate.
Wonderful to see Kyle with us tonight, and Oliver, I'll be dropping Mam an email to see if we can fix up an opportunity to see you soon, mate, so that we can do a few swaps and get you back on camera and get that video of yours embedded into one of our videos, because I think it'd be great for all of our fans to be able to see Oliver's video, because he did a brilliant job.
Excellent.
He did. Okay. Enough credits.
Happy Easter to everyone who celebrates Easter. If not, happy Sunday tomorrow.
Yes.
And we'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, have
fun.
Bye.
Bye.